Hey everybody, what is going on and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm doing something with the Tahoe. I wasn't really sure I was going to film it, but I figured I could just pull the phone out real quick and shoot this for you guys. So you can see I have the dash apart right now. I'm in the process of removing the instrument cluster because recently, and I've had this problem for a while, but just recently, yesterday to be exact, it's got a whole lot worse. So you can see here, the key in. None of the gauges work. I mean, the lights come on. You can see the back lights are on the gauges. The check engine light comes up, but the gauges do absolutely nothing. And it's had this problem ever since I got it. I noticed maybe a few weeks after driving it, just one day the gauges weren't on. And then I came in here and I whacked the dashboard, just did that, and they all came back. And it's kind of been off and on doing that ever since I bought the thing. So right now I'm in the process of pulling them out. I'm not going to fix them myself. I don't really have the time to take this thing apart and, you know, look up online and try to figure out what to do. What I'm going to end up doing is pulling it out, boxing it up, and I'm going to send it over to United Radio. Now, they're a company that we use at my job to fix all our instrument clusters, whether they're GM or something else, and they're very reasonably priced. They're up in, I believe, Syracuse, New York. I actually sent the 145 Speedo Camaro cluster up there because when I got the car, well, when I got the roller car that the cluster came out of, and I put it in the Camaro, the speedometer wasn't doing anything and the odometer wasn't working, and they took it, they diagnosed it, and it needed the little motor for the speedometer, and they fixed that up, you know, checked all the gauges out, fixed the bulb, sent the thing back to me, and it only cost me like 75 bucks. So the same thing I'm going to do with this cluster. I'm just going to pull it out now. It's held in place with 4 7mm bolts. I already have the box ready. I'm just going to throw it in the box, send it over to them, hopefully have it back within a week and a half, and they can figure out what's wrong with it. I'm pretty sure it's probably like a solder connection inside the cluster. Regardless, the park reverse neutral like indicator, that's been out since I got it, and I know that's a solder problem with the board. So they'll get that fixed up for me, and hopefully they can fix up whatever's causing the whole cluster just to not work. So I got the cluster pretty much out. The only thing left is the connector, and as you can see, the gauges they started working again. As I was trying to get that connector out, which I'm still having a problem releasing it, it's really stuck into the back of this thing, they came back on. So I think the problem might lie with the solder connection on that connector, where it actually the wire actually connects to the board. But all the gauges came back. You can see I am out of gas. I've been driving without gauges for like 3 days. The cluster, you can see what I mean with the park reverse indicator, that's still out, and pretty much they're back to working how they are. I do have a check engine light on. That is for one of the Bank 102 sensors. The heater circuit malfunctioned, so the heater and the sensor just burnt out. I'm gonna eventually get around to replacing that. But right now I came this far. I'm going to continue to pull the cluster out, send it out anyway, because I want to get this problem resolved so it doesn't keep happening, as well as get the little LCD in there repaired. All right, so I got the cluster out. That connector was a little bit of a pain in the ass, but I got it out, didn't mess anything up. So right now I'm just going to box this up, ship it off to United Radio. I checked the connector too. It looks perfectly fine, like no wires are pulled out or anything like that. No corrosion or nothing. So there's most likely a problem, either something loose inside of this, or maybe the connector there where it's soldered to the board. Some of the solder may have come loose. But regardless, I'm going to ship this out to them. They're going to take a look at it for me, hopefully get it all fixed up. I'll have it back in a few days, and I'll check back in with you guys when it comes back. All right, and here we are. Less than a week later. I shipped this thing out to United Radio on Monday, and today it's Sunday. It actually came in on Friday. I didn't have a chance to put it in until today, but they shipped it back in this nice foam padded box. Thing's all wrapped up. I didn't open it yet. We're gonna see what the invoice says here. Here's the sheet that I actually filled out. I went on their website and I printed this out, and you just give them your name, phone number, how you want to pay. I just checked call for credit card number, and just tell them what's wrong with the thing. I checked all these boxes: speedo, tach, shift indicator, gauge, odometer, because the whole thing was pretty much blacked out. And then I just put in there that it randomly, the gauges would start working if you hit the dashboard. And we know that the park indicator board that's right up here, you guys know, since I got the truck from the auction, that never worked. And that was a common problem with these clusters as well. So what it actually ended up costing me was $13 to ship it out to them, and then it cost me $189 in all for the repairs and for them to send it back. Now, I thought initially when they called me, I misheard them. I thought they said $75 only, but it turned out to be $175. But for that $175, they pretty much overhaul this entire thing, being it does have 215,000 miles on it. I did write that on the slip when I sent it out. They pretty much rebuilt the thing. So you can see here, they replaced the lamps, they replaced all the motors, and then they cleaned and soldered the circuit board. So the circuit board problem was what I was having, where all the gauges would just randomly go out when I was driving. So they soldered that up, they soldered the little screen up, and then they changed all the motors for all the gauges. So even though this thing has 215,000 miles on it, it's essentially a brand new cluster now. They also put all brand new bulbs in there for the warning lights as well as the backlights, because I know I had a couple of those burnt out like over here. So getting this thing back in is pretty straightforward. I'm going to take care of that right now, then we'll go ahead, boot the thing up, and see how it looks. Oh yeah, look at that. They didn't replace it, but it looks like they buffed out the glass. I don't know if they actually opened this up and like clean inside, because it almost looks like there's like a new seal around there. But this thing looks great. It looks like a brand new cluster. All right, just like that, we're back together. Perfect, look at that. We have the shift indicator screen back. You can see I still didn't replace that TPMS light yet, TPMS sensor, and the check engine light's on. And that is, I mentioned, for that oxygen sensor. I actually tried to pick up 2 of them, but Ozone only had 1. So I'm just going to be replacing the one bad one for now. But I think it's the Bank 1 heater. Yeah, Bank 1, sensor 1, heater circuit. So we're just going to change that sensor out. That'll take care of my check engine light. I have to pick up a right front TPMS sensor, and that'll take care of the tire monitor, and that's it. Gauges are all good. You can see all the bulbs. You can barely see, but all the backlight is working. They're all working over there now. As I mentioned before, 1 or 2 of them were burnt out on that side. But I'm very happy with this. I mean, for the price, it's essentially a brand new cluster. It kept my mileage, so opposed to like going to a junkyard, sure, I could pick up a cluster for 60 bucks or so, but having the accurate mileage and all that, and just sending it out and getting the whole thing refreshed, it's definitely a good way to go. I got the screen working again. This thing is pretty much brand new now, and we're ready to move on to other parts of the truck. So if the weather clears up, I'm gonna actually wash the thing, and we'll put the headlights, taillights in. I have LED bulbs, LED fog light bulbs, and that'll probably be it for Friday's video. If we don't get around to doing that, then we're going to be doing the steering wheel. Either way, Friday we're going to be working on this thing once again. And then after that, we're probably going to be working on the Camaro, because I've been working on getting that garage ready, and it's pretty much good to go now. So the Camaro needs a lot of love so I can get it back to the track. I'm going to put a link to United Radio's site down in the description if you want to go check them out. Maybe send me your cluster if you have a problem with it. But for now, I think that is going to do it for this video. So if you enjoyed it, please be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on Friday.